Ciao ragazzi, hi guys, welcome back to another video. How you doing? Good morning from Zamo here with the sign, double cup today, with the pizza on the counter. So good to see you. Good morning. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about vintage. We're gonna talk about some of the newest, coolest pieces in my vintage collection, what overall still has a best value if bought vintage. I think it's really important to have a conversation about like the value of clothing and what's best not to buy new and source and what still keeps its value. So grab a seat, grab a coffee, cup of mate, cup of tea, and let's get into it. So today, while sipping on my Zamo 1 mug, I'm just gonna go through why today's video. First of all, last week I made a video about 5 outfits for spring, and one of the funniest to put together was the vintage lover fit. You can find the video here. And I thought, okay, actually it's really nice to put together like more vintage pieces, and it's something that is part of my fashion journey. The second thing is that yesterday was the King's Day here in the Netherlands, and you're allowed to sell your things on the street. So I created an archive sale with all my things, as you can see here. And I was selling a lot of carhartt dickies that I have in my collection, some stuff that I used to sell on Vinted, some stuff I wanted to do merch for the channel. And I was like, damn, I actually have so much carhartt, so much dickies, and so much other random stuff, so I should really talk about it in the video. So that was like my thought process and what brought me here today. By the way guys, thank you for liking and following the channel. It's amazing the support we've been receiving. We're almost at 900 followers, so basically almost as 1000 followers. So thank you for the support. Extra how you doing if you're like a follower of the channel. Spaghetti Army is the name of our community. Every week, every weekend, we meet together, we talk fashion, we talk design, we talk inspiration, we talk recipes. So become a part of the community. Don't forget to follow and like. That's super appreciated. Thank you. So remember, when you're having your coffee, sip of water, sip of coffee to stay hydrated this summer. I think that vintage is always an interesting conversation. I personally got my access into vintage like 10 years ago. I was at university, I was broken, I was like, okay, let's go to like flea markets, and I started collecting pieces. I think it's really interesting to see how for specific categories, vintage is better because it's cheaper, because it's higher quality, of course, maybe coming from a different era of production. And I think it's always nice to keep in mind, whatever your style is, to have access and try and explore vintage options. So in today's videos, we're going to discuss 10 of my favorite pickups. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that you've never seen. Let's start with footwear. Recently, I took a video in which I was talking about my essentials and my footwear and, Paraboot Michaels. And people commented, yeah, of course, I would love to have a pair of Paraboot Michaels, but like they're mega expensive. I think those currently retail for like around 500 euros, 495. But beware, I got this pair on Vinted, for like 120 euros. So if you're looking for a specific pair of shoes, leather, they're high in demand, keep your eyes peeled, be on like vintage platforms, because again, 125 euros for a pair of derbies is incredible. This is my favorite pair of shoes ever. I compared it, for example, with like our Legacy camion boots. I compared it with other shoes, but this is insane, and you can get an amazing value. It's a leather shoe, you can resole it, classic derby, good for summer with shorts, good for winter. So keep your eyes peeled. Paraboot Michaels is really like at the core of my vintage collection. Those are like gloss ones. As you can see, especially this one, when I got it vintage, had like a little bit of a crease. But aside from that, perfect shoes, they're built to last. So this is really a category that you should look into when you want to expand your vintage collection. Absolutely. Then, still in footwear, because of course we always like to build our feet talking about shoes, we have an forgotten pair of shoes, which is my 11 by BBS. This is a collaboration in between Salomon and Borges or something. Amazing designer. They do like this object dye shoe. Very interesting project. They have been going it for a while. This was like one of the first projects who really put Salomon's back on the map like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's a very interesting product. Every shoe is different. These are like, of course, originally white and then they get dyed. I think it's a super nice fit that can fit more into like core enthusiasts, but can also be post-archival, can also be goth, can also be technical. So I also got this one on Vinted for a bit cheaper. It's just like a nice pair of sneakers. I actually don't wear this enough, but I will try and do that today and in the coming weeks after this video. If you're looking for a specific kind of shoes that has like a specific target, you can really find steals. And this is also another piece that I was super happy with. I bought these a couple of summers ago and they've been great to me, but I need to wear them more. If you're expanding the scope of my, like my vintage collection, things I love because vintage and things that uphold their value, you know me. Vintage carhartt and dickies pants are the shit, especially made in Mexico back to the 1990s. I have just a couple here for you, but I have way more upstairs in my attic. Gray pair, beautiful faded. You can see, guys, you have like this triple stitch. So those are like indestructible. They have like nice and natural fading carpenter setup. So you have like hammer hook and pockets. Nice distress on the front, some spots, but overall big character. And I think that if you want to enrich your collection, you know, and just keep on having cool things, those are like a no-brainer. You can find them online for cheap. For example, I also have like this beautiful green pair. This is the same exact model as the gray one. Some splatters, you know, some dirty denim, Acne Studio style, or legacy style. But yeah, beautiful red pocket in the back, minimal branding, and those are incredible. This is like a duck-born canvas, so it's very tough. I'm also currently wearing right now a pair of carhartt trousers. Those are also really nice because it's a carpenter bag made out of denim. And it's really cool because it has like the signs of time. So for example, when the worker used to wear his pack of cigarettes, his tools, you can still see the shadows. Overall, anyways, no brainer. If you're looking for a pair of like indestructible faded pants with character, go look dickies, go look carhartt. Those are like my favorite pants overall. I might say I enjoy them more compared to like brand trousers, like for example my CP Company collection. It's nice, it's fun, and I would absolutely recommend you try a pair if it's not too expensive. Let's talk spring summer, let's talk t-shirt. I have a couple that I think are really nice and fun. T-shirt number one is this one, finally wearing it, is my Goodfellas 1995 promotional t-shirt. Super nice and simple, bit oversized fit, it's super cool. Let me know if you like it, let me know if you're a vintage t-shirt person. I was not, but I actually like to put pieces together of like, you know, my passion for like movies and stuff, and this t-shirt is amazing. I used to wear it normally with a shortlist underneath. This is the first time I'm ever wearing it like this. I hope I don't ruin it. Nice fun vintage tee. And also always talking about my archive sale, I also have this carhartt pocket tee. You can really find good steals. Carhartt pocket tee is a medium. Yeah, great quality. I got this for like €5, so if you're lucky, if you wanna risk, vintage t-shirts are always fun. Of course, just wash them, bleach them, make sure they're nice, but once they're clean, they're gonna be with you forever. Yeah. Let's discuss tops. So, just got it last week. If we're talking tops, I have this beautiful short sleeve shirt from Harley Davidson. This is from the 1990s. It has this very rare skull print, you know, reminding you of the Punisher. Just like a funny short sleeve shirt. I think that the overall like Americana biker aesthetic is really fun, really functional, and you can really get the back. The better, you know, this is like based on like mechanic uniform kind of t-shirt, has like pinned down collar, and yeah, it's just like a fun piece, you know, you can just layer it on top. Works good if you're wearing black, works good if you're wearing white, and again, it's just like a fun piece. I think that Harley Davidson, if you're into, as I said, this American biker thrifted fit, you can really find good value for super cheap. I got also this one on Vinted. Instead, real life thrifting, I always get questions about this shirt with this beautiful lapel. So this is like a denim shirt. It has again these pointy colors. It's nice and cropped. It's a shooting from this band which is called Hotspur. Yeah, it's just like nice and cropped, so you can access your holster. And it's overall amazing. I got this in Antwerp last year in August when I went there for my birthday. Real life thrifting, and yeah, just like a nice piece. I think with denim shirt you can always go and pick like a nice one. I love this one. It's nice and cropped and really works for more like a formal fit. So this is also something super nice. And then if we are talking about tops, I have this sweater. This is a bit more related to my passion for Massimo, Osti, Stone Island, CP Company. So this is a Massimo Osti sweater, long sleeve sweater. As you can see here, this was created for the launch event for the Massimo Osti project in January 2024 in Paris. The Massimo Osti Studio project, I think, is really nice. They're trying to revamp its concept. It's the same ownership CP Company with Agatha Osti, the daughter at the helm. So I think it's a really nice project, and I always had the tie with Massimo Osti in its production. So I'm really happy that I was able to score this. I got this new from a guy that I know that used to work there, and he was so nice. But overall, I think it's really nice to have like a unique sweatshirt that talks volume about like, you know, like a nice experience, something you like, a passion. I wasn't able to go to Paris in January 2024, so I really wanted this sweater. This is made in Italy, garment dyed, has a very nice panel construction. I'm actually planning on expanding my Massimo Osti Studio collection. I think it's really underrated. And for example, I have the Birnham jacket, but I really want to expand it, you know, maybe get the Leatherman vest, so stay tuned for that. Then, as we always say, spring summer is the season of caps. It's sunny, it's windy, it's rainy, you need a cap. I'm bringing back for today's video this Harley Davidson cap. Again, same thing, Harley Davidson has like some classic pieces for cheap. The quality, the designs are kind of nice. So this is an interesting like cap because it's really high on the front. But I think it's funny and looks like, you know, your way around a menswear store, you know, you're a bit douchey. But I like that. And to finish it up, still accessories. As you probably see in last video, I have this pair of Marcolin tinted lenses. Marcolin is the eyewear producer from Tom Ford. They're a very small Italian company, and so I really want to support somebody that wasn't Luxottica. So this is like a project. They make their own brand, but the quality is Tom Ford like. They make the Bronson, for example. It's just like a fun pair of tinted lenses. I think that if you find vintage good quality, it's really nice to go for tinted lenses. Doesn't need to be a brand name. Of course, those are more expensive, but I'm really trying to establish myself as a tinted lenses kind of guy. So yeah. This is for, you know, when it's cloudy, if you live in Europe and it's never sunny, and yeah, so this is also a good asset. Marcolin, keep it tuned. And otherwise, yes, as I was saying, for caps, it's always nice to add a cheap cap. If you look online, look for big vintage cap, and you're gonna find something nice. Guys, thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming with me through this short video. I showed my best pieces of all things, brands, and ideas that I think are better if bought vintage. Please let me know in the comments what instead is like your favorites, if you're buying vintage, if you never have. I'm curious to know, you know, there's people who really hate vintage or the idea, and there's people who instead are obsessed and also buy vintage underwear. Don't buy vintage underwear, don't buy vintage socks, that's creepy. And yeah, aside from that, it was super fun to be here with you guys. Enjoy the sun outside, if hopefully there's gonna be sun where you're at. And yeah, have another coffee on me. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Love you. Bye.